Hey guys, Shawn Ziem, the host of the Webtalk Legends Podcast, number 83, all about providing some value on a consistent basis. My guests come on, they share their story, you learn, you implement, hopefully you take action, some of the ideas, the strategies, the tips that we talk about. And if you're using these things, please come back, drop a comment, tell us what has worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. Those that are popping in, a little housekeeping. If you're joining us live, we'd love for you to engage. We'd love for you to hit that like button. Make sure you drop a comment where you're watching us from. Do us a solid and actually share this to other platforms on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Viral Legends, and just engage. If you have questions, you have a favorite emoji, drop it in the comments. Comments on the algorithm for YouTube is helpful for us, and we want to have as much support as possible. So let me bring on a good friend of mine, Shawn Zura. What's up, man?
Hey, Shawn, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to see you.
Great to see you. And I always like to start the show as far as who are you and what do you do?
I'm Shawn Zura. I do mortgages. I've been doing mortgages for about 22, 23 years. We're all about being accessible to our clients and creating great service. I have an awesome team, awesome processing team, and just a great bunch of people that surround me. They make it possible for us to do what we do.
Love it, man. I'm glad you're here. And I would love to go down the path as far as you said, team. And no matter who is watching, we have people that have their own business. They might be one that is a network or multi-level marketing. They might be in the mortgage business, real estate, what have you. Having a team, can we talk about how important is it to build a team? And it could be one that's actually people that are on a team, and also maybe your circle that will give you opportunities, recommendations for business as well.
Yeah, I mean, the business is too big to go at it alone. It's extremely important to have a team because there's many different aspects of the job. And internally, we have a great processor. She's been with me for quite a long time. I've known her for a long time. Very hands-on, not afraid to reach out to the clients and kind of walk them through the process. And then outside of the business, you got your real estate team and your insurance people team, your attorney team, and all the different aspects of the business where you got to have relationships with these people because that's what it takes to get somebody from point A to point Z in this business. And by the way, both of our last names start with Z.
It's always at the end of the alphabet. Going through school, I was always like the back right corner. It was always alphabetical order if they started with the A in the upper left-hand corner. Always at the end, but hey, they got to talk to us at some point, right? We always get a shot. You always get a chance, right? So taking advantage of that opportunity is very important. So double Z's, man. That's it.
Double Z's. I had this one teacher in school, and instead of lining up alphabetically, she would line us up reverse alphabetically. So I got to be first instead of last.
I've done that as far as when early on in my teaching, the same way. It's something I take advantage of, the ones that are at the end of the alphabet for a change instead of the ones in the front. So definitely something that's unique to us guys. Again, if you're popping in, don't forget, hit that like button, hit the comment, drop where you're watching us from. If you're one that, I love this, people like to watch things and just never engage. But if they engage, at least you can do a hashtag live or a hashtag replay. Help us out a little bit. I know you're learning. You're going to jot some ideas, things that we're talking about down, but actually engage us, ask us some questions and things like that. So going back in high school, who were you, John? Were you more into like the books? Were you a jock? What was John's back then?
So back in high school, I mean, it was the long hair, the bandanas. Used to have an earring, totally different from the professional look of today. But yeah, high school was it was different. And then out of high school, and a lot of people that know me know I used to race harness horses for a living. So I did that for 11 or 12 years before I got into sales, and then eventually got into the mortgage business.
What made you get on top of a horse and racing? That's something that.
So it wasn't on top of a horse. I used to race in the sulkies. So it was harness racing, not
Yep.
thoroughbred racing. My grandfather used to have race horses. So when I was growing up as a teenager, being around the horses all the time, um, yeah, I mean, it became something that I enjoyed doing and, enjoyed being around the people, the competitiveness. And I think that's part of the reason why today that some of the success that we're having is that competitiveness from the earlier days. Back in those days, you had to win to get paid, right? And same thing with mortgages. You got to close to get paid, type of thing. So always trying to find that way to win and get across the finish line.
Yeah, I like that. And yeah, you're correct. I stand corrected as far as, yes, as thoroughbreds you're on top of, and then you're also in that cart, that's gotta be scary as hell, man. You're behind a horse. They might have gas one night. You might have to take a shit while they're running. I don't know, but it must be, there's a skill. How do you learn that skill? Who was one that you were from your grandfather?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while to learn, but eventually, it's one of those things. You either have it or you don't. It just comes natural, and it's all about you got the reins in your hands, and it's all about the feel. Like it's all based on feel, and you just know, and your horse, and horses have different personalities, like people do, and you know what they're capable of doing and how they like to race. Some of them like to go right out to the front and hopefully stay there. Others like to kind of come from behind, type of thing. And mortgages are that way too. Sometimes we have the greatest borrower of the world, all their paperwork's are in a row, appraisal comes in right on the money, everything just works, and that deal's closed in 11, 12 days. Other times it's a little more challenging, helping people get across the finish line and get into their homes. But either way, we're going to win.
Getting those wins are key, and getting across the finish line. There are hiccups that happen in life. There's rejection, things like that. What are some ways that we could help others that are having those days, things that are not going right? They're not, they're making those phone calls. Some people call them cold calls or connection, what have you, and they're not getting yeses. They're getting a lot of no's. How can we help them keep going, keep moving forward, smiling and dialing, etc.?
So one of the things, especially in this market, right? It's very challenging. I read an article on Housing Wire. We're 100,000 less loan officers today than we were this time in 2021. That's a big number, right? So we were at 181,000 loan officers this time in 2021, and now we're at 83,000 loan officers. It's a huge difference in the numbers. There's a lot of things we can't control that are going on, all these outside forces, right? We can't control the interest rates. We can't control the price appreciation on houses. Can't really control people's credit scores, right? And everybody knows you get better terms if you have a better credit score. But the one thing we can control, and I talk about this on my Wednesday meetings. I do a Wednesday meeting every week at 11 o'clock with my group. We can always control our daily activities, right? So every day I get up out of bed, have my coffee, do my little morning ritual, and then I show up. I show up for work, whether I'm busy for the entire 8, 10, 12 hours or I'm not busy. I show up for work because you never know where that next deal is going to come from. And a lot of times it's the activity that you put in determines the result that you're going to get out of it. So in times like these where there's not too much we can control, we still can control our daily activities. So if I'm working 20 or 25 days a month, I have 25 chances to get results. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way I was taught. And that's what I try to inspire people to think about. Just drill it down, get back down to basics. Forget everything you've known in the last year or 2 or 5 or 10, because this is a completely different market. Go back to basics, do what you can do, make your calls, keep connections with the right people, and deals will result from it.
No, I appreciate that. Now, this is a Wednesday meeting or a Zoom or what, with your team, or is it a recommendation sources or like a networking? Describe to us what that is.
So for the past 4 years, I've always had a Wednesday at 11 o'clock call with my team, or I should say my group, because sometimes there's groups that are outside of my team that are working with my team on certain deals. And a lot of times we'll have guest speakers, and we talk about, there's usually 3 or 4 topics, right? So we talk about company update. What's our company doing? What updates are, what are some of the changes? We talk about market update. What's going on in the market? Um, a lot of times we'll have a guest speaker like yourself, or somebody else in a different part of the industry that can give us some insight on what's going on. Could be a realtor, right? What's going on with houses? Are there still bidding wars? Like, these are all things we need to know in order to do our job correctly. So having that instilled in our minds weekly keeps us sharp even in a down type market.
I like that. And it's important for those that are watching, holding a Zoom call, holding a StreamYard call, holding some kind of video call with a group of individuals that are action takers that are going to take the information and grow with it. It could be a recommendation source, networking group. It could be your group that's at home. It depends on what you're doing, but it's important to be consistent. You said you're doing it for like 4 years. The longer you do it, the better it gets. Like John was saying, it will keep it instilled. It'll keep you sharp. You'll remind yourself with some things. So people are really like, what are we going to talk about every week? There's always things. And also you bring in guest speakers. Now, doing what we're doing right now, we're providing value. And if people are watching and actually listening, that's sort of skill that people don't practice. And I've found that doing this, I'm learning more as far as my listening skills. You're going deeper. This is what I would do if I had a face-to-face meeting with John. But people are like, I can't do this live. Like, I'm scared. What are we going to talk about? We didn't script anything. We're just having some fun. We're learning about teaching, adding value. And that's something, if you're doing it consistently, you're empowering other people.
Agreed. 100%. Couldn't have said it better.
And it's something that I like, personal development. And I believe that a lot of people, I'm into working out. I'm into eating, decently. I don't have a strict diet. I'm not into that. But the reading, educating yourself, watching some kind of podcast, educating your mind. What are some things that are you doing to focus on your mind right now?
So one of the things that one of my posts on Facebook, it was about 2 weeks ago, was stay relevant, right? It's two simple words: stay relevant. You have to stay relevant in the market. I talk to a lot of people during the course of the day, and I talk to a lot of loan officers. And there's a lot of loan officers that actually have given up because the market is so challenging. But if you stay relevant and stay true to those daily activities, I do read a lot, and I try not to do it during the course of the day. This is one of the reasons why I get up 4:30 in the morning, is I want to get all that stuff out of the way before my day starts. So when my day starts, I feel like I'm already ahead of the game. I already have the edge for that first phone call, know what's going on for the day. I watch CNBC in the morning because I want to know what's going on in the markets, just so my brain is kind of accustomed that way. And when I talk to people, I know I'm relied on a lot, and I want to be able to give the best advice I possibly can based on the knowledge that I know for today, right? So that's something I do, and I've always done. And I know it helps people, because a lot of the agents that I deal with, a lot of the real estate agents, I talk to them 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, right? It's this problem came up or this problem came up, and we're always looking for ways to find a solution to keep deals moving forward, or how do we get an offer accepted, right? And I say I'm not a realtor, but when I talk to a realtor, I have my realtor hat on, because it's how do we get that offer accepted? We may not be the highest offer, but we'll still find a way to get that offer accepted. It's how you serve the eggs, how you paint the picture, right? All of those things that are just so basic, that when we get off track with all these outside distractions and everything going on in the market today, we forget about those things. It's easy to forget about those things because you get so sidetracked. So I try to stay grounded and just stay focused.
Yeah, it's important for those that are watching, is very key. Staying grounded, having some goals you might write down, and you're always looking at them. You're always reviewing them, making sure that they're top of mind. John, you're married. Do you have kids?
I'm married. I have two daughters. My oldest daughter just got married last a year ago, August, and my youngest daughter just graduated Stockton. She's a teacher in Barnegat, New Jersey.
That is
So
awesome, man.
yeah, both of them are doing pretty well. My oldest daughter is she's actually selling her house and she's buying a new construction townhouse. Her and her husband. And ironically enough, I am not doing her mortgage. Um,
Was
there was
the builder must have gave some crazy deals.
there was some crazy builder incentives, so I advised her to just stay with the builder on this one.
Now I have young kids. I just went to a wedding. I had a wedding. A lot of wasted money. In my opinion, it's a great day, but oh my God, the amount of money that's spent on one day is
Yeah,
incredible. And but it's something that everyone wants. But if people use that money to buy a house instead, went a little lighter on the situation, appetizers, having a cocktail hour the entire time, holy shit, that would be fantastic. But no, everyone wants this whole 5 course meal and everything else. But what do you think?
yeah. I mean, I've had the conversation with my daughter, maybe taking some of the money that we're using for the wedding and investing it, or it couldn't be a down payment for her house because she had already bought a home. She had already owned a home, but there were better ways to probably spend the money. But I will tell you that experiencing that day was one of the greatest days of my life because it was an incredible wedding. And I'm not just saying that because it's my daughter. It was the feelings that I had on the inside. You can't really put a price on that. And I guess at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. And I'm not a female, but if I was, that would be my special day, and I'd want it to be just perfect.
No, well said. I definitely agree with you. It's all the emotions. I I have 3 daughters, and seeing them grow up and getting to that point later in life is, oh yeah, it's going to be emotionally driven that day, and it's going to be something that's you look back on, and they're there. You see them grow up. Now you're, what do they call it? You have no kids at home anymore, right? So it's kind of like
Yeah, so
empty nester now, right?
I'm an empty nester, so I'm spending half my time down in Florida and half my time up in New Jersey. So I uh, I just got down to Florida about a week ago, and I'll probably be up in New Jersey for Christmas and New Year's, and then be back down here through April or May. Trying not to ever see snow again if I can help it.
That is fantastic. How, you know, in your business, a lot of people that are watching might have their online business as well. And you're an entrepreneur. You're able to work in New Jersey, you could be in Florida, you can work wherever you have a laptop or an internet connection. You know, can you talk about that? What motivates you to, have that kind of lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean everything happens right here. That's my mobile office, right? So um, you could be anywhere. Could be anywhere. So when I'm in New Jersey, you'll find me in the office a lot of times, unless I have an appointments. I like being in the office better than working from home, even though I have a home office. When I'm in Florida, I'm forced to be in the fourth bedroom, which is my quote unquote home office. Um, but it's again it's the same routine. I'm up at 4:30. I'm in bed fairly early. I'll stay up a little later Friday and Saturday nights, and but during the week I'm in bed fairly early, 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm done, and I'm up at 4:30. Coffee's already made the night before. I just hit the button. I'll probably read a little bit of like Yahoo Finance or a little bit of Housing Wire or mortgage updates. I'll do a couple social media posts, and by that time it's ready to get in the shower and start your day. Um, but that's how I do it. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I could be anywhere. I could be on vacation. I could be on the beach on Saturday. I can, basically do a pre-approval through my phone.
You have those non-negotiables already set up. You have them
Yeah.
programmed. They're a reflex now that you have with this, and it's daily disciplines that everyone should utilize and get on board and get it accustomed. Make your body programmed for that, because it's a key thing to have consistency with business. A lot of people have huge months, then it dies off, and then huge month and die. You want to have decent months on a consistent basis so you can less stress, right?
Yeah. So it's even highs and even lows, right? You can have the little highs and little lows, but you don't want to go extremely high and extremely low, because then you got to try to stay humble. When things are going really good, you want to definitely stay humble. You want to stay conservative. And when things are going not as good as you want them to, you can always dig in and work a little harder or try harder. But you got those reserves for a rainy day type of thing too. You got that cushion where you're not feeling the stress. You know, I always say I'm going to be 59 years old in November, but I don't really have any gray hair. I don't have a lot of hair, but I don't have any gray hair. So the one thing I try not to do is stress about anything. You know, in a mortgage transaction, it's not a life or death situation type of thing, even though there are days where it seems like it is. When you really take a step back and take a deep breath and count to 10, it's not a life or death. Find the solution, offer the solution, move on, move forward. And that's just the way you do it. You know, a lot of moving parts, and sometimes you just can't control all of them.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. It's you control what you can control. That's the only thing. A lot of people try to do the opposite, and it's difficult. Now, you like to work. You're a hard worker. What do you do for fun, for hobbies, for besides do you travel? Do you watch sports? Do you go to events? Things like that.
So I'm going to back up a little bit, because I am a hard worker. I do like to work, but I don't call this work. I call this fun. I feel that I'm blessed to be able to do what I do, and how I'm able to do it, and the team that I'm surrounded by. Every morning I wake up, my feet hit the floor, and I thank my lucky stars for the situation that I'm in right now. And it didn't come easy, and there was a lot of hard work to get to this point. But I don't want to take advantage of it. I love what I do, and that's why I do it every day. And then for fun, probably this Saturday, I'll be on the beach. I'll hit the beach early before the crowds get there. Try to get a front row spot. Probably hang out on the beach till 2:30, and then head home. I'm a big fan of making dinner on the Blackstone and just hanging out at night. Got a little TV out on my lanai. I'll watch a football game or watch a movie with my wife, and we don't do a whole lot of traveling. Last time I traveled, we were on a cruise last November. We did a 9-day cruise to the Southern Caribbean, but other than that, I haven't really had a vacation since then. And even that was a last minute deal. I booked that cruise on a Thursday, and we were on the ship that Saturday, so less than 48 hours. It's I don't know. I'm not really big on vacations, but I am big on spending family time on the weekends when I can. That's not to say my phone's ever going to be shut off, because my phone is always on. One of the things I tell a client when I first get introduced to a client is, I don't keep banker's hours. Kind of like 7-Eleven, only, I can only go till about 9:30 at night. And at that point, I'm done. I'm off. So I try to be accessible most of the day. And there are times where you may call me, I don't answer the phone, but I'm going to get back to you. Or you may text me. I may not get back to you for an hour or so, but I will get back to you with an answer, within a reasonable amount of time. So I do try to take my time when I need to take it. At the same time, being accessible to my partners and my clients when they need me.
And you have the benefit, you're a New Jersey native, you're also Floridian. So you are, whenever you want to get away, you're going to different locations. It's, I think, 68 degrees today in New Jersey, and it's in 80 something degrees in Florida. So you could be at the pool. We can't be in the pool in New Jersey right now. It's definitely a freeze your ass off if that's the case. Unless, I don't even know if you could be in the pool right now. I think most pools are shut down, and you could do it in Florida all year round.
Yeah, I was in last Saturday. I was at the beach. I was in the Gulf 3 or 4 times. I mean, the water was just beautiful, beautiful. But even tonight after dinner, before we kind of sit down and relax a little bit, we may take a couple mile bike ride or something. To me, it's those little activities that add up to a vacation for me, type of thing. I really have no interest going somewhere for a week, unless it's that last minute thing where, hey, honey, you want to jump on a cruise, or you want to, fly out to Nashville or do something like that. It's other than that, Yeah, not really into it too much.
Yeah, going around too many people gets a little overload when you're on a cruise. I found that out firsthand, but it's
Yeah, so the
definitely
secret
some.
to a cruise is, they give you that itinerary, they give you that booklet that you get in your cabin every night. The secret to a cruise is, and I always say, go against the herd. So whatever everybody else is doing, do the opposite, right? And you'll find you get more. You still do a lot. You do what you want to do, but you get more downtime too. Because how many people walk off a cruise ship and need a vacation after their
Yeah,
vacation?
yep. And if you're on a vacation with kids, it's never a vacation because
It's
you're
never
just.
a vacation. No.
I mean, I went to the shore last year. We went to the shore with my wife and the kids, and then the week we came home, and then we went down another week with my in-laws, and I'm like, this is horrendous. It's like you need vacations from a vacation because you never got the vacation because you're yelling at them in a different zip code now. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But we had the great time, but it's just
Yeah, I
something that.
saw your social media. It was pretty good. It looked pretty good. It looked like you had a great time.
It's always something. Now, with social media, I want to end on this and I want to find out what are some tips and tricks that you are using for those that are watching that they could probably implement to help them with their branding, with posting. A lot of people think they just put one post up there, they're going to get all this business, but I know that doesn't happen. What are
Yeah.
some things that you're doing?
So I mean, I will say with the company I'm with now, Nations Lending, they have a marketing team that's second to none. Their marketing is by far the best I've ever seen. However, it's not really me
Right.
doing it, right? So I'll always try to mix in my own personal type of marketing, type of thing. And it may be something just as basic as, where the rates are today and, how I can still find ways to lower your payment. Because the second part to staying relevant, as I talked about earlier, is getting creative, right? So we can't do the same thing we did last year when rates were 3%. Oh, here's your mortgage. Um, by getting creative, I mean, we may take somebody who's putting 25% down and say, hey, Jane, or hey, Joe, instead of putting 25% down, why don't we only put 20% down and take that additional 5% you were going to spend and pay off these 3 credit cards? Because that's going to save you $450 a month. And that extra 5% is only going to cause your mortgage payment to go up $100 a month. So essentially, you're creating a monthly cash flow of $350 a month, or you're affording yourself that ability to buy a higher price home, even
It's
in this
all
higher rate of
being
environment.
creative. It's something
Yeah.
that a lot of people are only in it, they're fixated on certain things. So that's a good way of thinking as far as helping a client out, getting them into a property, but also getting them down on debt as well.
Yeah, yeah, because I look at the entire financial picture and then I look at what their goals are. And then knowing what I know in the business and my own personal finances, what would I do if I were in Jane's position? What would I do if I were in Joe's position, trying to buy this home? How
Are
would I
you
position?
using email marketing, video marketing? Is it something that you've thought about?
Yes. So I'm not doing as much video as I should. So that's one area I can definitely improve on. I am using email marketing. Um, and I could probably do more marketing, but marketing is just one avenue. I think, being on the phone and making the calls, these personal connections, like Shawn, I haven't spoken to you in probably 2 years,
Right,
right? But when you reached out to me, I didn't even hesitate at the chance. And now talking to you here on this podcast, it's like I've talked to you every day,
right.
type of thing. But I just try to be myself and, you know, making the calls. And the marketing is one aspect, but that's not going to make your month. You can't have just marketing. You need other things to go along with that.
Well said. Yeah, you got to be out there. You got to network. You got to pick up the phone. This is can get you a lot of money, and
Yes.
people don't realize. And it's just talking to people because when you go into a call, it's not always for that mortgage or insurance. It's you're listening to
Yeah.
a problem that the client might have or the person might have, and you providing a solution. Maybe it's like, oh, you need help with a website. I got a guy or I got a girl. You need somebody for you know an accountant. I have a guy or I have a girl, whatever. It's important. That's what you're listening for. So at the end, you might, after that call, might not have a mortgage or an insurance. but you have a client that's happy, they're going to remember you for you later on.
100%.
And it's just something that people have to change their mindset. It's important for that. And that's a whole other topic. We don't have enough time for that, but I appreciate you spending some time with us today, John. It was great to, drop some golden nuggets for everyone. If you are just jumping on now, shame on you, but I'm glad you found us and wait till this uploads and definitely get us from the beginning. Don't forget, hit that like button, hit that share button, and drop a comment where you're watching from. And if you have some questions, we'll get back to you definitely for sure. And John, we appreciate your time, man.
Shawn, I appreciate you having me on.
Everyone else, we hope you have an awesome rest of your day. John, stick around for 1 minute.
You got it.